Hey guys, it's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking baseball. 1 month down, 5 to go. Now we've got a nice big sample size, or at least a sizable sample size to look at when it comes to research. And we are breaking down the Rays and the Angels. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you hit the bell, you can be notified every time we go live or post a video. The Angels home favorites on the advanced line here, minus 112 on the money line. Total is 8.5 runs. We've got Shane McClanahan, the young guy, going for the Rays, fireballer, electric stuff, but sometimes he doesn't go very deep in games. And then for the Angels, no starter has been announced officially, but it looks like Alex Cobb is going to be going for LA. We've got Scott Rickenbach here to break this one all down for us. Scott, initial thoughts on Rays and Angels?
Rays Angels. This to me, this matchup is going to be more about the hitters than the pitchers. I think we're going to see some good at bats in this game because last night after facing Glass, now the Angels have a much better shot here against McClanahan. Now, as you noted, Chelsea, he does have really good stuff, electric stuff, but still a young guy making his first ever road start now in the big leagues. He did have a start last week. Again, showed some good stuff, and I know he's got a live arm. Throws very hard, and he's going to be a guy to be reckoned with down the road. But usually young pitchers in their first start on the road, that can be a tough call, and especially when you're facing an Angels team that has a pretty potent lineup. So they're actually one of the top hitting teams in the league so far when at home this season. And by the way, behind him for the Rays in this one, behind McClanahan is a bullpen that entered last night's game with an ERA of 6.30 on the season, 6.30 on the road. So again, they have struggled away from home. I think the pitching is going to struggle here in this one. And the Angels have some big sticks. So should see quite a few runs in this one because I also expect the Rays to have some success at the plate. You know, they entered this series averaging 5.6 runs per game on the road this season and 9-3 to the over in their road games. So I expect them to have some success. It's probably going to be Cobb. As you mentioned, Alex Cobb will probably get the call here. He has struggled early this season. This is a guy who the last few seasons combined has a record of 7-23. So hard to like him in this spot for sure, but I really can't trust either pitcher in this one. And that's what has me looking at the over in this matchup, Chelsea.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a high ceiling when it comes to Shane McClanahan. If you watched his first start, my goodness, the StatCast stats were incredible. He hit 101 on his fastball, and his slider was 92 and 93. And coming from the left side, it's even more deadly. But like you said, this is a really good Angels lineup that we will see Ohtani in the DH position, I believe, if he's not hurt. It just seems like that's the case for Ohtani just about every single night. That is neither here nor there. But 1-9, the Angels have one of the better lineups in baseball. Even without Trout and Ohtani, you've got Jared Walsh, David Fletcher, hit machine. So I don't know. I think we see more electric stuff from Shane McClanahan. The problem is you don't know how long he's going to go. Because if I know one thing about the Rays and their young pitchers is that they kind of baby them. They're not going to let them go
Yes.
deep in the game. They're not going to run up the pitch count when it comes to these guys. However, he had 5 strikeouts in 4 innings of work last time out and also had 15 whiffs in just 59 pitches. That's incredible. The fact that these guys, big leaguers, are swinging and missing at that kind of rate is really impressive stuff from McClanahan. So really excited to watch this one, but I think that's the wild card here because you don't quite know how he's going to be. And then on the other hand, Alex Cobb, very much a mixed bag. He had 10 strikeouts in one of his appearances this season, but also only went 2 innings in 2 of his appearances. So, and you talk about that Angels bullpen that top 10 in innings pitched this season. So they've had to rely heavily on that bullpen this season. So I definitely see where you're coming from there. Anything else you think better should know here?
Well, just you touched on it a bit, and that is proceed with caution here because, like you said, Cobb is a mixed bag. Then you've got a young hurler on the mound for the opponent making his first ever road start. So I would say this, I'll put it this way, this is not a game I'm looking at and jumping in with both fists ready to bet it because there's a lot of uncertainty in this matchup. So just proceed with caution, but I do look for plenty of runs in this one. Two pretty solid lineups. Even the Rays, again, they have produced on the road pretty well this season. Of course, they're not my favorite lineup, but in this matchup, it's a favorable one for them to score some runs. And I always like that when you have a good shot. One thing I do like when playing overs in baseball that I'll mention here is that when the home team is the team with arguably the weaker pitcher on the mound, I tend to like overs because the home team is generally going to get their runs. But if they got a home pitcher, if their pitcher that's on the mound for them that night is likely to struggle, well, that road team's going to get their fair share of runs too. So this is a good matchup to see plenty of runs, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I will say the Angels are 1-4 against left-handed pitching. I'd like to see what the first five line is for the Rays. If it's juicy enough, if it's at plus money, and I think worth the risk. I think that's worth looking at just because I think the upside on McClanahan is so high. The Rays definitely know what they're talking about when they're drafting and developing young arms. And just Alex Cobb has just had a couple blow-ups that makes me question, what he's going to do here. Because the Rays, you think of them as an under team, but they do find ways to score runs here and there. So I think if you're feeling risky, maybe Tampa Bay first five money line if it's a good enough price. But other than that, I think the over is probably the safer play here. That's going to do it for our baseball talk here on Picks and Parlays. Great stuff from Scott Rickenbach, as always. Scott, thanks for joining us.